Do you want me to like introduce myself? I think it's a very interesting concept because I read about this summer and it's basically the entire thing that I started from. So people talk about like the point where you are the most miserable in life. So obviously I don't speak for everyone, but I feel like if you are in the middle stage where you're not really like dirt poor. So I thought to myself, I don't want that life. I've always had big dreams. And then I eventually started doing business. I started with like Instagram theme pages, and then from then on, I started trying out different things and eventually landed on X. And then after I started seeing that money, man, I dropped out. The guys who actually get successful here and live the life of their dreams, travel the world, are the ones who actually take things seriously.
Sean, what was the moment you decided to go the entrepreneurial route?
I think it's a very interesting concept because I read about this summer and it's basically the entire thing that I started from. So people talk about like the point where you are the most miserable in life. So obviously I don't speak for everyone, but I feel like if you are in the middle stage where you're not really like dirt poor and you're just kind of like everyone, that is kind of, for my own experience, it was the most horrible for me. So I was doing great in school. I wasn't stupid in school or something like that. So I was like set up for a decent career, but like at the same time, I wasn't like going to be at a very high paying job automatically. So I was going to be in the mediocre side of things. So I thought to myself, I don't want that life. I've always had big dreams. And then I eventually started doing business. I started with like Instagram theme pages, and then from then on, I started trying out different things and eventually landed on X.
Yeah, I think that a lot of us can agree that the thing or the idea of being mediocre for the rest of our lives is not the life we truly want. And coming from that mediocrity to building something that is our own and scaling it, I think that this is a huge, huge opportunity. And I think you called it still a gold mine in one of your latest videos. But yeah, you said you started with Instagram theme pages and yeah, got to the point now where you build in public and sell you as a person. So can you maybe talk through this whole journey? So what came after the Instagram theme page?
Okay. So I started with Instagram theme pages. I was able to grow my account fairly decent. I forgot when, but I sold that account for like $50. I don't know how I sold it. I think I sold it through like my mom's PayPal or something like that. But it was something like that 4 years ago. And then after that, I moved on to SMMA because I found out that's when I started to get introduced to this whole make money online space thing. So I learned about Iman Gadsi, stuff like that. And I think I got access to one of his courses, or at least like a part of it, and I started consuming that. But I wasn't able to get results for after doing it for like 3 months. So I quit. Right. And then after that, I took like a small break for I think like 1 year or like 6 to 8 months. And then after that, I found out about Hamza. So the guy doing self-improvement, exercise, meditate, journaling. He basically got me to start over on this self-improvement thing because after quitting SMMA, I started getting a bit depressed. Like maybe this thing is not for me. But Hamza put me back on the track. And then eventually, after I did that, I started selling ebooks about studying, which was ironic because I dropped out. So I started selling that with my girlfriend. My job back then was to write out the ebooks and market it. My girlfriend's job was to design the creatives. So we kind of worked as a team and then we split our profits. But then that wasn't really working because we didn't really know about traffic or ads back then. So we kind of just put the offer out on a random Gumroad site and tried to sell it, but it didn't perform well. And so what we thought was, okay, so maybe ebooks are kind of old for old people. No one reads books anymore. So what we thought of was why not make Notion templates? Notion is blowing up. And so what we did is we created a Notion business about studying. And that one ended up doing really well. I think on our first month, we got like 200 per month. And then after that, 500 per month. And then even $1,000 per month. Like it really started blowing up from then. And then after I started seeing that money, man, I dropped out. Like this is probably not good advice, but that's what I basically did because I saw it was possible. And then after that, I eventually got to X because I do not see myself enjoying. I mean, I do not see myself doing Notion templates. Like, I kind of asked my question: do I see myself selling Notion templates for the next 3 years? The answer was an immediate no. Like, I still did not know what I wanted to do back then, but I knew it wasn't Notion templates. So when I came to X, it was funny because when I started making money on X, I still didn't know what I wanted to do until I got to like 5K per month or something like that. That's, I think life changes a lot once you get to like 5K per month, at least in my country. Not sure for other countries, but like when I got to that stage, I started seeing the world a bit differently and I thought to myself, hey, I think this is something that I actually want to do. So eventually, that's what I did and it led me here.
Definitely an interesting journey. And let's start over with the MMMAs, SMMA. So you learned it from Iman Ghazi, and it's funny that I also learned a lot of what I'm doing right now from Iman. So a few months ago, he launched Monetize, and it was at a
Mm,
phase in my life where I said, okay, I either go all in into this and do my best, or I wait another 6 months to get a similar opportunity. So this was the time I said, okay, let's do it. And I bought it for, I think it was 1.5K. And the real thing he sold was digital products, or how to sell digital products, and so on and so forth. But the mindset stuff of this courses was just the first
yeah,
lessons. It was so good that everything I'm doing right now is kind of based on the mindset stuff.
yeah,
And I'm not selling digital products yet, but I learned so much from this mindset stuff alone that I'm right now doing a podcast, and I have 5 clients I'm helping with, from the mindset stuff, from understanding myself, from understanding what I want to sell. And this now shifted to a point where I can help people go from A to B, from being addicted to a phone to not being addicted to a phone and being focused. And I think that this mindset practices helped a lot.
yeah. Is that what motivated you to start in your niche? Like Iman's mindset thing?
I wouldn't say Iman's mindset thing alone. It was more the lessons I learned from it. But it was definitely the point from I'm just another guy to I'm a guy with a purpose. And this was one of the most important steps.
Gotcha. Yeah, because Iman's mindset thing is very good, man. Like I also that is the one of the only things that I remember when I was doing SMMA, which I guess is
Hmm.
also a problem because I maybe didn't apply the things. So it was good, man. Like I remember the SBA worksheet, I think. I'm not sure if it still has that. Like write down your goals on a piece of paper and then read that every day. Like I
Hmm.
read that like I printed out a piece of paper or like multiple pieces of paper back then and then I read that every single day. Like I put when I'm 40 years old I want to be a billionaire, stuff like that. But I think that's really great for mindset. It was a funny conversation though when I put that to the store because I had to print it out and the cashier kind of looked at me as like this weird guy talking about like affirmations and stuff on a piece of paper. But it's good, man. My Eamon stuff is good.
Yeah, and the cool thing is he bought consulting.com recently, so he got access to all the stuff that he learned. So Sam Owens is basically the guy behind people like Iman. So I'm doing the mindset stuff of Sam Owen right now, and it's like basically the same, which is funny because now I'm at the source of all these big entrepreneurs and I'm learning the exact same things. And
Yeah.
doing the thing right now. So I did it in May, almost all of May. And then I applied from my own. So I tried X again from a different perspective. And right now I'm at a stage where, okay, I'm about to launch my first offer. So
Yeah.
how about I'm doing this mindset stuff again? And it's just funny how similar these things are to the things that Iman preaches. And it just shows that Dan said it before, that we are basically on the shoulders of bigger guys or
Yeah.
something like that. But
Yeah. I read the comment. It was like all mindset stuff leads to Sam Ovens. Like he basically grandfathered a lot of things. He's a
Mhm.
good creator, man. Like you could learn a lot from him.
It's a thing that his program is like for 7 weeks or so. And I'm just right now at week 2 and I'm already, my mind is blown.
Yeah. It's great, man.
Um,
I've heard good things about monetize.
yeah, monetize, it's definitely, you have to go in it with an open mind, with being comfortable of stepping out of your comfort zone, but then it's, I think, a
Yeah.
really good product. But let's talk again about your journey. So this SMMA thing failed. So what exactly were the reasons? You tried it for 3 months and then just don't see or couldn't see any results. Is that the only reason?
No, I think like a big problem of me is I didn't really have like concrete goals. And if you don't have concrete goals, you don't have concrete inputs. Like
Mhm.
I'll tell you why. I wanted to get paid back then, but I did not know how invoicing worked. So like your actions leading up to that payment will not reflect that because you don't even know the end point, right? Like it's a
Mhm.
mindset thing. And so that's why one of the things, I didn't really do research. Like I was sending outbound, but I did not know how to go from there. Like what would we do on a call? What calendar would I use? I didn't set any of that up. So it was probably like a skill issue. Like I'm not good at SMMA or like the skills required to run SMMA back then. Like obviously I'm better now, but like for me back then, if you guys are kind of like in a similar position, I would say ask yourself, is it really not for you or are you just not good at it? Because I did not ask myself that question and I ended up quitting because I couldn't be asked to like learn. So it was my fault basically.
Yeah, and after that, you moved on to self-improvement and basically sell ebooks around that. And one
Yeah.
of your teachers, I would say, was Hamza. The funny thing is, I used to watch him a lot back then, also like 3 or 4 months ago, until one of my old school friends, who is a lot more in this online business niche, told me some stuff that maybe I should distance myself a little bit from Hamza, but yeah, I definitely used to watch this guy a lot, and I still think that he says and teaches a lot of good stuff. But how
Yeah.
did this self-improvement and ebook business in general look like? Also, how was the journey of, okay, now I quit SMMA, and how did you decide,
Gotcha.
okay, let's do this?
Yeah, gotcha. So Hamza got me started on self-improvement, and in turn, I started going into reading books. So the most important book that I have read then was Atomic Habits. Not because it taught me like how to get better habits because I was a decent there, but because like when I read that book, I saw a line there which was like, if you want to go ahead in life, and try to find accountability groups where people are like doing the same thing as you. And so what happened was I went find like accountability groups and then I searched around everywhere and I was even commenting on YouTube, and what happened was I found like a girl there. And the girl that ended up becoming my girlfriend. So we met on the YouTube comment, right? And so we talked around for a bit. We had a lot of interests, but anyways, that kind of progressed. And then eventually she tells me that she's really good at like making Notion templates. So, I mean, ebook templates or stuff like that. She
Okay.
was good at design. So we did that for a bit. And so I had the bright idea. Why not sell that? And if you're already doing that for school, why don't we package that up and sell it to something? And so that's what we did. I told her, hey, let's sell that ebook template. And then from then on, the Notion thing was like the next obvious decision, like I talked about earlier.
And how did the whole process look like of the ebooks business? So you met her and then you started doing all of this ebook stuff, writing, and at the end selling a few. And I watched one of your YouTube videos where you talked a little bit more about how you first started selling it to your mom and her friends and
Yeah.
then moved on and got your first sale. So can you maybe explain this process a little bit more or your emotions behind it?
Yeah, so my first ever sale was my mom. That was honestly good. And then the other sale I think was like her friend. So she posted it on like her Facebook and then I got a few sales from that. It felt nice, but like it didn't feel as great as like the next few sales, which were completely organic because our funnel back then was just a landing page on a Gumroad site. So we didn't have any external traffic. Like we didn't have accounts pulling traffic there. And so when we got that random sale out of nowhere, that's when the make money online belief kind of like started growing in my head. Like I could actually make money while I sleep, right? And that was even before I learned about traffic and stuff. So yeah, that was good. Like when that $20 sale first hit, that was when I knew this could actually work. Like maybe I'm just really delusional, but like from then on, already started having visions in my head where I dropped out of school, and it ended up happening.
And you said that it happened after you went all in on Notion templates. So what made you decide from, okay, you already said it, that you ask yourself, do I really want to do this for the rest of my life or so? And for ebooks, you said no. So you moved on to Notion templates. How did that look like? So yeah, can you explain a little bit more the journey behind it and how it made you at the end quit college?
Okay. So the reason why I quit college is because I don't remember if I've seen this from Hormozy, but I saw it recently. But Hormozy says something along the lines of like, think of the worst case scenario of like the thing that you are so worried about. And so like I thought about my college. If I dropped out, maybe I could just go back to school next year. Like the worst thing that could happen is I miss school for 1 year. And even if I miss school for more than 1 year, what happens? Like I'm living on planet Earth for like 100 years or something. So like I have all of the time in the world. And it's not that, like we are fortunate enough, or I am fortunate enough to be in a household where we are not like dirt poor or anything. So we have the money to like sustain ourselves. And so I thought to myself, I could drop out. Like I have all of this stuff given to me. So why not do it? Like the worst case scenario for me is literally nothing. And so that ended up making me drop out. It wasn't because of the money, although that was a big motivator. It was more so about like me thinking, what do I actually want to do in life? And is there a worst case scenario for me? The answer was there was no worst case scenario, and what I wanted to do in life wasn't in school. And so I dropped out eventually. I mean, I would have done it when I was on the ebooks. Like the Notion thing didn't really change my decisions
Mm.
that much. Like I told you, I already wanted to drop out back then.
Yeah, I think that a lot of us have to sometimes ask the question, okay, am I just doing this because I'm forced to, or am I doing this because I truly want it?
Yeah.
And most of the times it's, okay, I have to quit one thing in order to go all in on another. And many times it's just habits, or it's just the, old mindset we have built over the years that make us stay where we are right now. And lastly, you went on X. So how did this decision look like?
So I actually was already on X before my Sean Canela account. I was running a Notion account for our Notion template business, and we were posting stuff about Notion, the usual. And eventually, I came across Sebastian. Like I don't know if you know him, but like Sebastian Roska, he was posting stuff about like how he grew with Twitter and made money with Twitter. And so I looked into his account, and with enough conviction, I was sold by his course. So I bought his course, and that basically ignited the question of like, do I see myself doing Notion for the next 3 years? Because I wanted to do what Sebastian was doing. Like that was more exciting to me. And so I tried it out for a bit. I didn't tell my girlfriend like this was funny. I started another account, the Sean Canela account, and out of nowhere it blows up like way faster than the account that we have been growing for like 2 months. And so when I got my first $500 client, that's when I told my girlfriend, "Hey, I made money, but not from Notion." And she was like hyped about it. And then eventually, I still helped with like Notion back then. Still like posted stuff, did stuff, but like eventually we kind of just let Notion rest on the side because it was making us money without us doing anything. And it still is now, by the way. Like it's still making us like 500 to 1K per month without doing anything. So we let that rest on the side. My girlfriend started doing her own thing when it comes to business, and I started doing my own thing when it comes to business. And today, it's grown to where it is now.
Can you maybe tell a little bit more about this new journey? So you started this new account, and how did the beginning look like?
The beginning, I would say I'm pretty lucky in my beginning on X because from my first ever post here, I'm not sure why, it got like 30 likes or 40 likes. And then my next ever post, it was pretty high quality. Like I made an infographic about Kieran Drew, Danko, and Justin Welsh. And that ended up doing like 40 to 50 likes. And then from then on, people started following me because they liked my infographics. Like that's actually one of the things that I did before. And I'm not sure why. Maybe it was because from my Notion or like inspired by my girlfriend. But like I posted a lot of infographics back then, and they helped me blew up. And then on my eighth ever day, I got my first viral post. And so from then on, it started really blowing up because if you get a viral post on X, people tend to stay with you on your next few posts. So it started compounding. 30 likes per day turned into 40, into 50, into 60. And then, on the New Year's, like literally on January 1st, that's when I got my first client.
And yeah, the rest is that you made 120K in the year alone, I think, or in
20
1 year. Okay.
2024.
So definitely a wild ride. Let's just say I'm beginner and I want to design my 2024 just like you did. So I'm starting off with nothing, and let's just say I come to you and ask you, okay, how can you emulate 2024 for me as a total beginner? How would it look like?
I would first ask you, like, how many hours can you dedicate in a day? Because that is a big factor. So let's say like you have 4 hours a day to spend, which is like the basic, and most of my clients do too. So like if you have 4 hours to spend in a day, try to make inputs around that now. Like for me, my biggest inputs back then were lead gen and making content. I engaged a lot back then, but not like in the hopes of growing, although that did help and that was one of my motivators too. But it was because me engaging directly correlated to me getting clients. So my funnel back then, or like my strategy, was I engaged and hope for people to see my content, because my offer back then was helping people 2 steps, like I'm the guy who's 2 steps ahead of people, sorry, so I'm helping people like that. And so my idea was, if people saw this guy who had more followers than them, had a better account than them, had more clients than them, comment on their stuff, they would at least check out my account, right? And so that actually ended up working. I'm not sure if it still works now, but like that's what I did before. But like what I would recommend now for most people is, if you're running like a consulting or coaching offer, then you can do something similar to what I did. But like if you're running a B2B offer, like a service-based type offer, then work on outbound first, get to one decent case study, and then once you get a decent case study, focus on inbound. Because if you don't have a case study, people don't really listen to you that much on B2B content. Like you would have better use of your time when it comes to outreach in B2B.
Let's talk about the listener in general. So listener tunes in and now he wants to learn from you. So how would you say do your brand pillars look like?
It depends on the person, but like I try to look at the most basic things. So like positioning, traffic, lead gen, and sales. I mean, if you think about it, that's only the real metrics that I could help with. I sometimes help people with delivery if they are doing the same things that I am doing, but if not, then I can't really help them. So like I like to focus on the first four.
Okay, so then let's go over a little bit more about these four. So let's start off with the first one. So how would you describe it and how would you frame it from your own perspective?
Okay, so positioning, how I would like frame positioning or like help people with positioning is, I always ask them like what their immediate goal is, or like their short-term goal. So if it's to get clients, then we make sure that your front end is geared towards that. So we don't want you writing random stories in your account. We want your stuff to be about something that directly targets your ideal client, or like the ideal pain points of your clients, the usual stuff. So that's positioning for us. Now on a bigger like scale, when it comes to positioning, you could have completely horrible positioning, which is like all of your offers, your sales assets, your lead magnets and stuff like that, they don't like align with who you hope to attract. So like I had a call 2 days ago actually. It was from someone who had like 200K followers. And her main problem was her positioning was bad. And how that looked like is the people that she wanted to attract, it didn't like align with the stuff that she had. So like the content that she was posting, it was for a complete different audience. The lead magnets that she had, it was for a complete different audience. Her offers didn't even align with her prospects. So it doesn't make sense. So that's usually the first thing that I look out for. Because if you have bad positioning, even if you try to make your offer as best as it can be, it won't really work. Like you have to fix the foundations first. So positioning is a broad term, but I like looking at it as like looking at every single thing in your business and is it aligned to the person that you are targeting? If not, then you have bad positioning. If it is, then you have good positioning.
And let's just say I'm targeting a totally different audience I can't reach yet. So let's just say I'm targeting CEOs and executives, but in the back end, I'm still stuck with, let's just say, creators and beginners. So how would you say does positioning look like then? So should I focus on the creators and beginners first, or should I try to position myself only towards these executives.
Why can't you target them? I'm just curious.
Let's just say I'm talking a little bit about my experience, but I would say that I don't have the proof yet, so I don't have the testimonials yet, and I don't have the lingo yet, so how they talk, how they structure their offers. So yeah,
Okay.
these are the two things.
Could you learn the lingo without getting a case study? Like technically?
Technically, yes, but how I will get there, I haven't thought about yet.
Yeah. So think about it. Because like you could shortcut your way into getting those clients. Like I know someone who is helping people with hypnosis and he was able to get to like 12K per month. And so like the thing is, the people that you're targeting, like let's say, like what is your offer again? Is it about like helping people with procrastination?
Yeah, procrastination and moreover beating the distraction and getting focus.
Yeah. So like look into the perspective of them and not into the perspective of you. Because like for example, if you had a CEO and he had like let's use the hypnosis thing. So CEO makes 50K per month, does really good with business, but like when it comes to hypnosis, he doesn't know crap about it. So you don't need to use like their lingo. You just need to use like common pain points that people experience when it comes to getting results or not getting results with hypnosis. Because like for example, you could get those clients straight away, and that's why I asked you. Right? It's more of a mindset thing. So you could get those guys straight away by simply like spending a few days looking through like the pain points of the stuff in your niche and then directly targeting them. Because you
Mhm.
don't have to go super high level here in your niche. In other niches where you're trying to target like the same offer or like the same vertical that they have, that's when like you'd need to do like the lingo thing that you talked about. But like it's for you, man. The thing that you're offering them, they don't even know stuff about it. So like even the most basic stuff about like the simple most methods, you know. Like have you seen the testimonials of books like from Atomic Habits? You know, some of the testimonials from like James or like the people that he helped are really big guys, you know, celebrities, superstars, CEOs, executives. So like really basic habit stuff help them. And so like why can't you, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean that's my advice.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I wanted to say something, but I kind of forgot it. Yeah, but maybe I will remember it later, but let's
Yeah.
just go over the process again. So let's say we've done positioning and now we want to head on to the next stage. What would you say are things I have to truly solidify in my positioning to move on to the next one?
So are you asking if positioning is good? What's the next step that we go over?
Yes, and how can I truly know that I should go over to the next step?
Okay. All right. So you will know that your positioning works if you are like doing outbound, for example, and the people that are responding to you don't like question your expertise or like don't question what you're doing. Obviously, you will have those people, whatever you do, but like you don't want them to be too much. Because funnily enough, the people who I talked to who had bad positioning, they get good reply rates. Like people respond to them, to their stuff, but like they were just confused on what they did, or they simply outright said no, right? So after people are open and they are understanding of what you do, you can move on to the next step, which is like lead gen, basically, like getting clients, I mean, leads and traffic now.
And what would you say are the foundations there? Are there any lessons? Are there any things I should truly focus on right there?
Lead gen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so lead gen, if you're doing B2B or like a service-based type offer, just do outbound on X. Really simple. If you're doing something like I am doing, which is like consulting coaching, you could go with the inbound route because like the funnel here for us anyways is get people on our newsletters and then sell them on that. So X is really good for that, the newsletter funnel. So if you're doing something similar to I am, put most of your focus into that. But if you want fast clients, outbound is always the easier way if you are starting from zero. If you already have case studies, then making better content, spamming lead magnets, and stuff like that could actually help you get clients a bit faster. Because when I was at kind of at your stage, man, what I did was I spammed lead magnets almost like every 2 weeks. So I kept posting lead magnets, I kept posting long form stuff like that to nurture my audience fast and get them to my newsletter. And then that's where I got the most of my results from. But it's funny, you don't even need a newsletter if you don't have a lot of traffic yet. Because I got to my first 10K before taking my newsletter seriously. It was just an extra thing. But like the main thing for you as a beginner, if you are doing something similar to I am, is focus on like nurturing people fast with your content and then having a lot of conversion points, which is like having a lot of CTAs in your content, doing a lot of hand raisers, like auto plug stuff like that. So that is if you are in my niche. If you're in the other niche, which is like the service-based type niche, focus on outbound, right? Like I could talk a lot about outbound, but that's what I would say, focus on out.
And you said that I should put maybe lead magnets under my content. So how does the content creation look like? Because you said earlier that one of your early posts blew up. So how would you say, or why did you say, or why could be that your early posts blew up so much? So is there anything you learned afterwards?
A good question. So I would say the reason why they blew up before is because what I was doing back then, no one was ever doing them. And so, it's a hard question because how do you find something that no one else is doing? Or like how do you come up with that? Like I thought of the genius way of like looking at what's working, but on other platforms. And so I actually stole that first post idea from Pinterest out of all of the platforms. I copied it from Pinterest, even the design, and then I just wrote the post myself, and that ended up blowing up, right? So if you want to like go hard on the traffic game, or at least like grow fast as a beginner, try to find something unique on other platform and package it the way X intended. And so like X likes a specific type of like post structure and stuff like that. I just did that for my old thing, and then I added like the infographics on top of those, which made it stand out, I guess. And I copied those infographics on Pinterest. So that's my process.
Yeah, so taking something totally new and getting it into a new environment is something
Yeah.
similar I'm doing right now with the podcast. So it's something one creator did once, and then I saw like, okay, there's no one really doing a podcast. So I had a call with Julian a few months ago. He said, okay, maybe we can film our talk or film our call. And ever since I tried that, got a few more people on it, then got banned, and then it just blew up. So right now I'm on the fast track towards getting the quota, but let's see how this is going. But
It's good,
yeah,
right?
I think that experimenting is a huge thing until you totally blow up, and taking ideas from different sources. So what would you say are sources X creators should look? So would you say they should look at specific books, specific platforms, or maybe even specific creators?
I would say try to look into like unconventional areas because what I was looking at back then, I was still stuck in the Notion algorithm back then. Because well, that's what I did. And so the things that they were doing, I kind of said, oh, this kind of looks aesthetic. Why don't I do that to my posts? Right. So look into the other interests in your life. Look at those sources of medias and then try to get inspiration from those. Because if you try to copy from like the same thing, your mind kind of gives you the limiting beliefs of like, hey, this guy already did it. Why will it work for me? Or like, how will I make this better? The guy's 10 times bigger than me. So don't do that. Instead, just go through other medias. Like sometimes I get inspiration from the most random of things. And like what I do is I go through like old piano albums because I play a lot of piano, and then I get inspiration from like their albums, some random stuff, and that helps. Like when you want inspiration, don't look at the obvious, look at the unobvious.
Yeah, that's also the reason why. So I have all my books to my left, and they're only business books. And right now I started reading more philosophy, so kind of shifted my whole reading habit from all these technical books like Atomic Habits and Think and Grow Rich to more things like White Knights and even Dune. So I'm reading Dune right now, which is pretty cool. But yeah, these are like my sources of inspiration. And I think that all of us can find our own source of inspiration based on our interest. But are there anything else that you want to add to the leads and traffics section, or should we move on to the next?
I would say apart from that, just go hard in your first few weeks, go hard on volume, then test data, and then after you find what works, double down on that. Because that's basically what I did from January to February, which I consider to be one of my fastest months in terms of like life-changing months. Because from December and like the earlier stages of January, I was able to find a few post types and a lead magnet format that worked completely well. And so for the latter stages of January, February, and even March, I just did the same thing over and over again, and it kept working. So I didn't stop doing it. I only stopped doing it when I stopped working. And then when I stopped working, I did other things. So that's what I
Mhm.
would focus on. Lead gen. And so traffic, that's kind of like an optional thing, honestly. If you're doing the same thing as I am, then traffic's kind of needed. If you're not doing the same thing as I am, then you can just go in on outbound. But when it comes to traffic, yeah, my advice still follows. Just try to find one thing that you can, or like a few things that you can do that are validated to work and do them over and over again. For me, it was like a specific post format and doing lead magnets. Now, the next step is sales. Sales, like you will sell with your ability to sell people and how good your offer is. Your brand helps. Like if you have a good brand, it helps. But like having a good offer and how good you are at selling matters more. Because I know people, I have coached them who have insanely good offers and they had like very suboptimal sales skills. Like they didn't know basic objection handling, that sort of thing. But when they presented their offer and when they started explaining how it could work for them, people got immediately sold because their offers were extremely good. So I would say when it comes to sales, just focus on those. I mean that's my most basic advice. If people are not converting, try to find out why. Like you can usually find out before the call or like on the call itself. So like if it's before the call, like people aren't jumping into a call or like not entering or like not showing interest in sales conversations, it's usually an offer problem. If you are not converting when they enter that sales conversation, then it's probably a sales problem. Like you are bad at sales calls or stuff like that.
And let's then go over both offers and sales skills. So what would you say makes a good offer, or what are things I should focus more on when creating my...
A good offer that I'm seeing nowadays is one that's bold and unique. So like if it's something bold, like I think this is a perfect example. So 2 days ago, I hopped on a call with someone who worked directly with Hormozy. So I was helping him with like his Instagram, his offers and stuff like that. And he had a really good offer. It was like get 50K in 7 days. Boom, right? It's a good hook. And the way that he got there was actually unique. So it wasn't like the normal growth operating offer, which was kind of like the frame that he was taking. So for some context, the normal growth operating thing is going into people's funnels or like people's accounts and then handling their emails or their funnels, right? That's the usual growth operating funnel. Now, what that guy did is he didn't do any of that. And instead, he just told people, hey, I'll make you money from your current customers or your past clients. So I'll extract money from your past customers and upsell your current clients so we can make money out of thin air. And so not only did he have a big claim, which was like 50K in 7 days, he also had a very unique promise, which was we don't do any of that normal growth operating BS, and instead we just make money off your existing results or clients or customers. Those two are the biggest indicators if an offer is going to pop. It's not about how much you do, like it's more about how you do it and how bold you are in showing it, basically.
We will definitely talk a little bit more about offer when we do a little bit more of a practical stuff, where we go over my account and talk a little bit more about that. But in terms of sales skills, so what would you say are some things we should focus more, or some things the listener can focus more on when it comes to sales call to truly convert it?
Okay, so on sales calls, like this is a whole nother realm. You know, I've went through a lot of courses when it comes to sales. And so I like the easiest way for me to kind of summarize this is don't overthink it and instead just try to like mirror it. Like my strategy when it comes to sales right now is to do mirroring and then add something like painful or add something good on top of that. So like mirroring, it basically talks about like repeating what the prospect said back to them. And then my thing is I add something painful in that. So if they told me, hey, I haven't been losing weight, right? For example, I'll tell them, so you haven't been losing weight. Is that the reason why your wife is ignoring you? You know, stuff like that. So I repeat it back to them. And sometimes if it's not a bad thing, I add it to a good thing. So like they're saying, "Hey, I'm not getting sales with my clients." So I'll say, "Hey, so if you did get sales with your clients, do you think that will help you get to 50K per month?" You know, it's an obvious yes, but like it gets people to think. And if you don't know stuff about sales, that could be the easiest way for you to kind of lead the call into a sale. Just mirror what they've said and then add something painful or add something good on top of the sales, right? Like I could give you so many tips, but like that's one of the biggest things that has helped me.
And I think that these skills need a little bit more, I would say, spontaneity. So I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are very strict when it comes to sales calls, they think about sales call and they just think about the script they just have to go through, while in reality it seems more like conversation. You ask them, they give you an answer, you ask different questions, and then at the end they decide, okay, is this person or does this person fit for what I truly want?
Yeah, like spontaneity is a big thing in sales. Like one time I was on a call, I was literally playing Skyrim, like a video game, on the other side. Like I don't know why I had it open, and whenever the guy talked, I would just like go on my second screen and like walk a bit. That was funny. I ended up closing him, but like the thing is in sales, just be very just listen to what the other guy is saying and like be persuasive. Like that's literally it.
The thing is, I used to be the guy who was the least spontaneous, so I couldn't like have a normal conversation with people because I always had things in my mind and I always had like, okay, say this, say this, say that. But ever since I started talking to people online on calls, it helped a lot. But the point where it all skyrocketed was this podcast. So podcasting in generally, it's
Yeah,
literally you getting paid for listening. And it was just like, okay, with every call I had, I listened to with a little bit different ear, and it just helped me. And I wouldn't say it's volume uh, that makes it all easier. It's more the, okay, I listen to myself on while editing and then doing one thing to truly improve my listening the next time. And yeah, comparing myself from my first podcast to where I'm at right now, it's like day and night, even as a person and as a podcaster.
yeah,
So yeah, I think that it takes a lot of practice in many ways.
yeah.
That's like one of the advice I can give to a listener, that they just should hop on calls left, right, center when when they're starting out. So it took me like 8 months to truly hop on a call with even another creator. And
Really.
ever since, it's one of the habits I try to keep track ever since. And right now I have the podcast, which is like 1 week, one episode per week. But I know that if we keep going this pace, it will be 2 or 3 episodes a week. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's all a volume game at the end. Or
yeah,
in some areas it's a volume game, in some areas it's a skill issue. But
yeah.
now we have sales in place.
Podcast is a genius idea actually if you want to improve your speaking skills or like listening
Definitely.
skills.
Um, yeah, but now we have sales. What was the last, I would say pillar?
It was delivery, but that was
Okay.
more optional. Would you like me to explain in the context of like my niche, like having coaching clients, stuff like that? It's very
Yeah,
different if you're doing service based. Okay, so if you have coaching consulting clients, like there are so many different things that you can do, but like there are two ways that you can increase your attention or like increase LTV, all of that stuff. You either do defense or offense. Offense means getting people direct results. So like how far you can get them from when they started with you. So that's offense. Defense is letting them stay on the program when they are not getting their desired outcome yet. So like think about having a good relationship with them, right? That will increase defense, right? Like checking up with them, being accountable. One thing that I have learned is reach out to people first about their problems before they reach out to you about their problems. So like if I notice that my client is not getting sales, I will tell him, dude, we're not getting you sales. Let's fix this, right? You don't want to reach the point where he asks you first before you do, because that could be bad for attention. And I think it's like a psychological thing. So that's defense. To summarize defense, basically just be a person, be empathetic, be like a real person, make jokes with your clients, that sort of thing, and be active. Don't be the guy who's like messaging on Monday and then responding on Wednesday, right? Like that's a bad thing. And as for offense, it is basically how good you are at your consulting or your skill. So like, for example, back then, I was really good at getting people results, but I was kind of dead when it comes to making relationships with them, right? Like Benjamin Chan was one of my first few clients. And, I'm not sure if I told him this, but he was actually one of the first few guys that I have connected with apart from like Arnie. And, that's when I learned the importance of like defense, right? Like having good relationships with clients. And then after that, my retention rate blew up. Like I retain people at the minimum of like 3 to 4 months now, even with my lowest ticket offers. So I see that as a big improvement. So yeah, either do defense if you're lacking on that part and do offense if you're not getting people results. Both are equally important.
And let's just say I'm the complete opposite. So I would say I'm more of a person who can build a connection, but I think that I'm so far at the beginning that I don't really know if the things I'm teaching truly work. Because yes, they work for me. And yes, my clients have some results, some big results sometimes. But with no clients, or I'm not at the destination yet with any clients, I just started like 2 months ago, and none of them are at a point where I can truly say, okay, you can live the rest of your life without me guiding you how to treat your phone or how to treat your distractions. So what advice would you give someone who is the complete opposite of that?
I would say ask if it's a you thing or a them thing. So if it's a them thing, have they done everything that you have told them? If not, then make sure that they do them first. And usually, like, I'm going to be talking more technically now, but like, if they are not doing everything that you're doing, maybe your product delivery is just bad. Like, maybe your course is bad. Maybe the way that you do calls is bad. Maybe you can't teach them that. But like, if it's a you thing that they are genuinely doing everything that you have told them, then maybe your product in general is bad, or like the value that you're providing is bad. Answer the first question first. So like, is it a them thing? Like, are they doing everything that you're teaching them? If not, or if yes, then move on to the other thing, which is like, it's a you thing. So like, fix the way that you're teaching them, basically, or like what you are teaching them.
Okay. So a lot of, or it's simplified in 4 steps, but they have a lot of things behind it and a lot of experience probably that build up over time and things you just have to go through yourself and learn. Let's do a little bit of a practical stuff. The original reason behind this call was one of the offers you made. You offered people calls so both of us go over my account and understand a little bit more. So now we will replicate this talk or do this talk live on the podcast. So I hope you can maybe look at my profile or share your screen maybe. If that's possible.
Okay. While I'm doing that, can you like walk me through your current problems? So your like direct problems and what you think could be potential problems.
I would say the direct problem right now is that I don't have a clear offer yet that I can promote, but I'm already building some experiences and getting some feedback from the clients I already have.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, cool. So how much do you charge your current clients for?
Right now they are free clients, so it's just testing out the offer I created or the things I learned over the last 5 years. So I'm in this phone addiction thing for 5 years, and after that I now decided, okay, I learned so much along the way. I took my 10-hour phone screen time, which was at the beginning of the year, to now under 2 hours each day. And
Okay. All right. And how much is your offer? Like, I think your ideal audience is like the CEOs, high executive things, right? Like what you talked about earlier.
yes, so this would be my long-term goal, but now I'm at a point where I maybe even targeted more towards creators and people I already know to help or to truly help them. But the general thing around this program, it's a 3-month program. I want to cut it down to 2 months. So 2 months of intense phone addiction curing. And I want to charge $200 per call, which would be on a broader scale, like 1K for the whole program.
Okay, gotcha. So my immediate advice for you is that will not work. Like if you like try to like target your friends too, or like whatever you plan to do, or like whatever you said, that will not work. And so my
Mhm.
advice for you is to just go all in on those high executives. Look at it as like a now goal rather than just a future goal. Because I've seen this happen too much, man. I have helped someone before who was doing like productivity coaching like over 2 years ago almost. And we could not just like get him sales. And it's not that he had a horrible brand. He had like 2,000 followers, so way more than you. He had more authority than you, more case studies than you, more of that stuff. You know, he worked for free. And the reason why is because his targeting was just like too broad. He had an idea of like helping executives, but at the same time, he was trying to help people two steps below him, something like that, right? And it never worked. But like on the other hand, I know someone like the hypnosis guy. He is very hyper specific on his targeting. And so when he did that, he was able to get a lot of clients, right? And like my immediate thing when I look at your account, I'm trying to look at the context of as a consumer. I don't really know what you're doing. Like to be
Mhm.
honest, man. You're doing podcasting, that I understand. You're doing coaching on what you're a writer, that makes sense. But like I don't understand what you're doing. So like this is more of a prioritization thing, I would say. So like is getting more money and getting clients a priority for you, or is I don't know, just like posting randomly on X a better thing for you? Like what would you say, man?
Right now, I would say more the second thing. So I'm probably right now not at a stage where I say, okay, I have to go all in on money.
Really? And what's the reason with that?
I would say it's more a comfort thing. So the life I'm living right now, it makes me comfortable, but at the same time, I want to go over and make some money, make this a business. But the
Yeah.
connection between both is like not there yet.
Then let me ask you a question, man. Where do you think people grow? In a place of like comfort or discomfort?
Definitely discomfort.
Yeah. And do you want to grow?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you want to grow, you know what steps to take. It's uncomfortable. Like I have clients who have went through a complete 360 with their personal brands. And let me tell you, man, it sucks. You have been posting the same things over and over again, but like some guy on the internet, some random 20-year-old kid from the Philippines tells you to like, hey, delete all of that and write these things, right? And so my clients did that and, you know, they made money. But like the thing is, I say it's like a prioritization thing because maybe right now making money is like not like a priority for you, but like it could be just a mindset thing. Because I did ask you, you want to grow, right? And that's a good thing. But like there are some people in this world or in general in this space who do not want to grow. But like if you're on the side that wants to grow, then take the uncomfortable step. Which for you, talking more technically now is like doing a positioning change. So like going all in on your target audience, doing research on that, and then posting stuff about them. Like I'm not saying you to quit podcasting. Like I think it's a great idea. Could help you get your first few case studies and more social proof. I'm just saying to put that as like a side thing for now. And even like on your account, you know, when I check it out, I don't see you as like this guy who could help me with those problems. Because
Hmm.
even I myself, I am experiencing some of those problems myself. So like I try to look at your account and try to like convince myself that you can help me, but I could not do it. And this is because your
Hmm.
positioning is scattered, right? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say on the front end, that's what I see. But like on the back end, what are you doing right now to get clients actually?
To get clients, it's mostly through conversations and talking to people I already know, asking them, okay, is there something I can help you with? And finally, the ways I got most of my clients was through people recommending other people to me, or just friends asking me, okay, I have this distraction problem. Can you help me? And yeah, that's basically it.
Okay. I wouldn't really call that I wouldn't call it like a main strategy if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So like what you can do is like whenever you go through this positioning change, um try to go hard in like tracking data. So like I think for you, um you would do well on like a bit of outbound and a bit of inbound because what you're doing is kind of like it's I see it as like a B2C offer because you're not helping people with business. So like you're helping people with like their personal problems, stuff like that. So I would say have a really strong front end funnel, which for most people it's like a simple call funnel. So like landing page, video sales letter, button to book a call, right? Like you can't just go ham on DMing. I think you still get clients from nurturing people with those call funnels. So that's what I would focus on, speaking more technically. Set up a funnel, fix your positioning, and then make a real strategy when it comes to reaching out to people. Because I have went on calls, and my VA counted this. I have went on like almost 300 calls, or like almost 200 calls in 2024 alone, and I record all of those calls. And most of the times, the people that I am talking on calls with, the reason why they are not getting clients, getting money, results, followers, or whatever the hell they want, is because they simply aren't taking things seriously, right? Like I'm not saying this to like be a dickhead. Obviously, I'm saying this just so you know what to do or like improve on.
Mhm.
So like for you, man, speaking honestly, you need a real strategy when it comes to getting clients. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like I mean, it is uncomfortable, and even right now, you don't probably have the full blueprint to getting there. But if you commit yourself to doing that, you will eventually find it out, and you would benefit a lot from it.
Yeah, I think a lot I learned right now, especially with the positioning. So having not a clear positioning can, or that this leads to so many more problems. How would you say could I maybe improve my positioning? So are there questions I could ask myself, or is it maybe even experimenting?
The easiest way is to just find someone or like find a lot of people who are your ideal clients, look at what they like, and then just associate yourself with what they like. So I got that from Alex Hormozzi's playbook. I'm not sure who posted that, but like I saw a part of his branding playbook, like the $6,000 thing he sold recently. And one
Mm-hmm.
of the best advices that I got from the branding playbook or whoever posted that was like, if you want a good brand, associate yourself with the things that your clients love or like your potential clients love. So like for you, if your potential clients are like high level CEOs, executives like that, make sure to put that on your bio or like your pinned post, right? Talk about like if you are XYZ feeling XYZ, or I was in your space just 1 year ago, I was doing XYZ, then make that as a pinned post, for example. On the bio, you can just talk about like something that relates to them. It's like maybe pain points or dream outcomes. It's always like that thing or that other thing.
Okay, yeah, definitely a lot I learned from this small section. Is there any more advice or things I should consider?
I think we have already talked about most things, but like we have talked about your positioning, lead gen. Are you good at sales? Like have you done sales before?
Not really, but I'm a more drawn towards warm sales, so I'm not really the cold call person.
Yeah, same man. Yeah, I think you do decent on like inbound sales. Like the thing there is just like be normal, be human on those calls and you can get clients. So yeah, you're do like fix that positioning thing, fix your inbound thing, and then one other thing that you should do is maybe fix the framing of your offer. Because like
Mm-hmm.
telling people that you will help them with like whatever you told me earlier, I probably can say the exact same thing. It's not really clear. Like you need to be more
Mm-hmm.
specific. Like Jason Fox, I'm not sure if you've heard of him or seen him. Yeah, he's doing like client acquisition on X, makes like 50K per month. He talks about like offer messaging being more important than like the offer itself. So like offer messaging is basically like adding pain points to your offer, stuff like that. So, like for example, if your offer is like I help people stop procrastination, right? Very simple. Now, if you're targeting high level executives, make sure the messaging for that to them is on point. So like talk about the costs of them being procrastinated. Like do research on their businesses, what they are running, stuff like that. Yeah, and if a post like that were to target me, they would talk about you being procrastinated is the reason why you are not getting leads, for example, right? Which could be one of my bottlenecks. Or like you being procrastinating could be one of the reasons why you can't overcome your sales objections, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. You have to be hyper specific, especially in a niche like yours, because like you are on X, and on X you have to be hyper specific to like a few people or like a very small group. If you are on Instagram, that's when you can be broad in your niche. Because like let's face it, on X everyone is a business owner. Like no one's a consumer here. And so people don't really buy B2C offers, which is kind of your offer, like you help people with productivity. And so on X, you have to be hyper specific. If you ever plan to do something else on like Instagram or something like that, then you can be more broad. But like if X is the main thing for you right now and you like writing, then be hyper specific.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think that messaging as a whole is, for me specifically, I would say hard because there's no real metric to truly tell the person. So I can say, okay, I will turn your 8 hour screen time into 2 hour screen time, which is
Yeah.
okay, fine, but this means nothing if other things aren't in place. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that this, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say if that's the case, my advice for you is to just do second and third order principles. Like, have you heard of that? So, like, if you can't think of something tangible, let's start with like the first order principle is you not being able to focus. For example, like that's the first order principle. Now think about what's the consequence of you not being able to focus. So like maybe you'll not get work done, right? So like that's the third order consequence principle, whatever. Now the third order consequence is like if you are not able to get work done, then you will not be able to make money in your business, right? And then you could even go deeper than that. If you can't make money from your business, then maybe your family won't be able to support you in doing business, right? Like you go deep on the pain points. But like that's always the same advice that I give to all of the people that say, I don't have something tangible with my niche. What do I do? So that's what you do. Go deep on like second order, third order, fourth order, even fifth order, and you can really go deep on that basically because it's not tied to something tangible. It's tied to something real. And something real doesn't always need a number behind it.
Mhm. All right. And one last question. So basically in the niche finding and positioning thing, I learned from Sam Owens. It said, okay, take the pain points and use them as a core of your message. But what if the pain points I target are so broad that I basically talk to everyone?
Is that a requirement of your niche or is it like just a choice of yours, like the broad thing?
I would say it's more of a niche thing because, okay, having no focus, this affects executives just as it affects creators or other people. So this thing alone gave me such a broad audience that I kept it that broad.
Okay. So if it's like that, I would just fabricate the labels with the CEOs. So like you said, everyone could be experiencing a lack of focus or like procrastination. So like just label them, right? So just say, hey, if you're a CEO and you're experiencing XYZ, then just do that then, right? Like if there's no like tied label to it, just make a label. Like there is no downside to doing that. If you can't make labels with their titles or like their positions, just make labels with like what they do. So like I read a really great post about like self-improvement. I forgot what they were doing, but like the hook was like something about business. So I was hooked because they were talking about like leads, right? Who doesn't want to learn about leads? And so I go through that post, and then when I started to read down, it was actually something about self-improvement. And so that really hooked me, right? And so you can kind of do the same. Label yourselves with what they like, and then go through with whatever you wanted to post in the first place.
All right. I think that this will help me a lot and I will rewatch this section a few more times. But for now, thank you for this short section that will probably have a lot of impact in my business in the future. The core mindset pillars that every entrepreneur, every ex-creator needs in order to truly make a business out of it or make a living out of it.
Maybe like because for me, the first thing was belief and exposure to the results that I wanted. So one thing that my mom always did when I was growing up is she was always like putting me in expensive hotels. And so like I always saw the rich side of things and that was kind of like a standard of mine that I always took for myself. And so the way that I acted, the way that I talked, that kind of seeped in into everything that I was doing. So it was a natural thing. And once you have the belief that you can do it, the second thing is like optimizing yourself and your body to work as hard as you can to reach your goals, right? And so that was kind of like what I did with the Hamza thing. I don't know what Hamza is doing it right now. Like I think Hamza has a lot of like drama with this channel, but like he genuinely helped me out become a more productive person and like really operate at a higher level. And so once I did that for myself, I was able to really work hard. So I already had the beliefs ingrained to me as a child. If you don't, then you could probably get away with like doing some mindset work. Like what I have here on my bedside table is like a 20-page like affirmation page. So something like that. It's not all affirmations. Like sometimes I have like a written story about who I want to be. And so I read through that whenever I have problems with my belief for some reason, right? So if you don't have belief, that could be a practical thing that you can do. And after you have belief, just optimize yourself to work hard. But like obviously before that, find the right thing that you want to work for. Like for me, I tried out so many different things. But like once I found out the one thing, which is X, go all in on it basically.
And yeah, definitely a lot of things you just mentioned, but the last one, this affirmation thing, is one that also came up in so many calls before, and it's something I think a lot of us can benefit from if we do it right. And that's the thing, because most people think that, okay, I have to do it this or that way to truly get results. I think that affirmation, visualization are things that work every time. So every guy I look up to, or most of the people I know, they all did it by just getting the idea first in their mind and then doing the action towards it. So what would you say are some questions that I should maybe ask myself to truly get the answers to these visualization things or affirmation things?
That's a good question. Have you heard about like this study that they did with visualization when it comes to like basketball players? Because it's a really popular study.
Maybe I heard it, but right now I don't have a clear idea.
Okay, I'll explain it a bit. So like in the 80s or like 90s, probably butchering it, they did a study on visualization and if it made any sense. And so like there were two groups or like I think three groups. The first group were someone who didn't train at all, but they did visualization. The second group were the group that trained, but they did no visualization. And the third group did nothing at all, just to like handle the placebo effect. But yeah. So basically, they went on for like I think 12 weeks or something like that, and the other group trained, the other group just did visualizations, and the other group, just did nothing for some reason. And then when it comes to like the practicing or like the result thing, they started shooting, right? And it was found out that the guys who did visualizations actually outperformed the guys who like practiced. So think about it, they did no practicing, they did no extra drills or whatever when it comes to basketball, but they ended up scoring more than the guys who did practice just because they visualized. And so the reason why I'm saying that story is if you want to do affirmations or like questions, don't like affirm the results, affirm the actions that will get you there. When people think about affirmations, they think about, I want to make 10K per month. I want to be a billionaire. I want to be a millionaire, right? But that's not the right thing. The right thing to do is telling yourself, I will be the person capable of making 10K per month. I will be the person who works hard, shows up every day, wakes up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and gets to work, right? That's what the guys did when it comes to basketball. Instead of like visualizing how they will get the results, they visualized them practicing in their head. Like they were literally practicing in their head. They were doing their drills in their head, stuff like that. And a similar study was done with pianists actually. So same setting and everything. But like the other person, I mean the other group, they practiced piano and then the other group, they literally just thought of like playing the keys. I don't know how that even works. And then, lo and behold, they got better results than the guys who practiced. So it's a really powerful thing. Affirm the process, not the journey.
And what would you say is or what was your practice? So is it just looking at it at times you truly need it, or is it just something you do regularly?
Before, it was a routine. Like, I legitimately read it like 2 times a day, and it took me like 15 minutes each time. Like nowadays, I put my extra time into just more work because I already have, like what Hormozy says, if you want the best self-belief and you want the most confidence, just do so much work that it's like unreasonable for you not to believe yourself. And that's kind of what I did. I have so much proof that I am good at what I do and what I help my clients with that I naturally believe that I'm good. Like I don't need the worksheet or like the papers to do that for me. I was doing it in my Notion business. So like when that blew up, stopped doing it. But there was a period when I did X that I started reading it again. I forgot the reason why. I started reading it again. So like I did that for like I think 3 months or something like that every day. And then nowadays it's just like whenever I feel down or like whenever I start to drift away from my original goals, I read that and remind myself that I can really do this.
Talk. Thank
Yep.
you for being such an amazing guest. And is there anything you still want to say to the listener?
I think like we have talked about a lot, but like I said, I think I don't know if I told this to you or like it was another guy because I've had so many calls. Um, just take things seriously, basically. Because a lot of the
Uh-huh.
guys on X they talk about wanting to get rich, and then once I hop on the call with them and then break down their stuff, they're not even taking it seriously. Like their strategy is like posting a few times per day, answering a few DMs, and hope for the best, right? Like, but that's not a real strategy. The guys who actually get successful here and live the life of their dreams, travel the world, are the ones who actually take things seriously. So you have to define your definition of like taking things seriously. Because if it's just like that, then you're not going to go far. But if it's actually dedicating yourself to the work, doing it every single day and staying consistent, then that's taking it seriously.
All right. Thank you for this last advice and have a great day. Bye.
You too, man. It was a great call.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, bro.